And we are live here on The One Thing. This is The One Thing Nugget LinkedIn leverage for lawyers, where we hit it off 10 minutes. I give you something to implement, to take action on when it comes to developing business off of LinkedIn. And you know that moment in a LinkedIn event like this, when someone makes a really good point in the community, a point that perfectly aligns with your expertise, but you just drop a great insight and then you move on, you've lost an opportunity there. So last year, I turned one of these almost missed moments into a six-figure partnership. Today, I'm sharing exactly how you can transform these throwaway comments in an event environment like this into sort of game-changing connections and relationships. Because let's be honest, we lawyers are great at arguing cases. Sometimes we're not so good at turning obvious networking opportunities into actual relationships. I'm Vivek Hess, and welcome to The One Thing. This is your 10-minute espresso shot of offering one piece of needle-moving advice for your business development, usually around LinkedIn in some way. So Vivek Hess, I work with lawyers and law firms, teaching them, showing them, guiding them, consulting, managing LinkedIn, and how to leverage that to build out your business. So chime in as you come in here, where you're coming in from. And I see Americo da Costa. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for chiming in here and speaking up. And if you see others in this community, I'm not really at a point where there are hundreds of folks joining in, but in the big events where you have several hundred, you always have these opportunities. So keep an eye out, engage, contribute. And so that's what this one is all about. So let's talk about the events. That's sort of the one thing that we're going to focus on is events. How do you leverage events? And there are sneakily three subparts to this. And one is sort of strategic visibility. One is a framework that I've shaped called comment to connection formula. And then finally the follow-up. How do you follow up on any sort of exchanges you've had in events? So when it comes to strategic visibility, you wouldn't show up to court unprepared or any business meeting unprepared. So why are you winging it in the professional events? So think through. Here's sort of the power move I'm suggesting. Before each event, the topic, identify three specific areas of expertise that you can sort of authentically speak to or contribute to, and have that in the back of your mind as you go into the event. Someone mentions these topics, you're not just commenting, you are essentially establishing authority through some sort of a shared experience. For example, when someone recently mentioned struggling with client communications in their practice, I shared a quick story about how I transformed my own approach to this. And that led to that 30-second comment led to a coaching opportunity. So it was a very practical effect to that, but I was sort of contributing from my area of expertise. So, and I want to ask Americo, you're joining in here. I'm going to call on you. During events, do you connect with others in the event? If you have a response to that, or if you've done that in the past, let me know. I'd be really curious to find out. The second point here, the sub point, I should say, is the comment to connection formula. So here's where most lawyers, a lot of folks, go wrong. They treat event comments like closing arguments rather than opening statements, opening up doors, opening up opportunities. So your goal isn't to win the point, it's to start the conversation. So I use what I call the ECR method: experience, challenge, resolution. So share a brief experience related to the speaker's point. Acknowledge a common challenge, then hint at your resolution or a solution or something that will make it easier for others regarding that topic. For instance, rather than saying great point about client retention, for example, try your point about client retention resonates. I struggle with this until I developed myself a system or a strategy that transformed my practice. Happy to share insights if anyone's interested. So don't push it out there, but just say, I'm happy to share anything if anybody wants to have a continued conversation after the event. So that's the ECR method: experience, challenge, resolution. The third subpoint I want to raise here is the follow-up framework. You've been to an event, it was a great event, you had a few exchanges, and then people will just drop it off. Don't do that. There are opportunities in those exchanges and comments and contributions that you've shared in the environment of that event. So So really some of the magic happens in sort of the 24 to 48 hours after the event. But please, for the love of all things legal, don't send that generic "great to meet you" connection request. Expand on that a little bit. You have some more characters for that initial connection request. Refresh people's memory where you met and where you sort of joined in on a common thought or idea or suggestion. So reference specifically the specific points from the event contributions. Share a relevant resource. That is not your sales pitch. That's not what I'm referring to. A relevant resource, not the pitch. Suggest a focused conversation around a shared interest that you started during the course of that event. I recently connected with a patent attorney, and after bonding over our mutual frustration with traditional sort of networking approaches. And that connection has now led to, and continued conversation has led to multiple referrals, all because we focused on sort of an authentic or a genuine alignment rather than hunkering down and trying to have an immediate opportunity. So be patient with it and sort of nurture and get to know each other after the event as well. So here's a verdict. Every LinkedIn event is full of potential connections hiding in plain sight. And you just need to shift from sort of passive observer to a strategic engager and really listening to people that are out there. LinkedIn user, hi there, hi there. Not sure, it says LinkedIn users. I'm not sure who you are, but thanks for joining in. And so look around during these events and see if there are others, where you're just kind of resonating with each other, you're bouncing off of each other, and continue the conversation afterwards. But if this resonates with you, let's you and I, who showed up here, and Jeff, thank you, Jeff, for chiming in here. Let's continue the conversation. I'm sharing more insights about transforming professional relationships. On my profile, I'm always excited to connect with fellow lawyers and other professionals who believe in the power of sort of authentic networking. So, so drop a comment about your biggest event networking challenge, and either here or in the follow-up after this event, and we'll solve it together, evaluate it together, and share some common experiences that have benefited us in developing our business and relationships. Because remember, in the world of professional networking, the best connections often start with just one very thoughtful comment, not spamming with tons of comments that are sort of just check the box type of engagements, but it's really putting some thought into it. And how can you actually offer some value or advice to somebody during the course of the event and afterwards? So I just want to kind of plant that seed in your mind that I want you to go from passive observer to sort of strategic engager. These events are really a good opportunity to do so. And what used to happen is that LinkedIn had the invite list, everyone showing up, publicly available. I think that LinkedIn has discontinued that because there was so much spam going on. People were getting hit up by people that were trying to sell their services or their products or whatever to the people that were going to the event. And so I think this list is not available at this point. So you really have to be genuine about the connections that you make during the event and after the event, and sort of build that Shelley Spence. Hi, sometimes my name doesn't show up in certain events. Well, Shelley, you are showing up now, and I really appreciate it. So, so again, I want to just kind of refresh, the 3 points around events. That's sort of the big topic for this one. And then the 3 sub points here are, talk about showing up strategically, having that strategic visibility. Before each event, think through, what might you have to contribute, and offer that as sort of a value add to the event itself. And then the second sub point here is a comment to connection formula. Show your experience, talk about the challenge, and then hint at a resolution and open that door. Don't just push a solution that you might have, but open the door at least, and politely, and say if anybody wants to continue that or see how how I strategically address this topic, this issue, this problem. And then finally, the follow-up framework. Make sure that you follow up with anybody you connected with during the course of the event, and see where that takes you. So if we're not already connected, connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to get some more nuggets along the way, I'm dropping them pretty much every day from my LinkedIn profile. So follow or connect. And I really appreciate you all showing up here. Shelley, Jeff, Americo, I really, really appreciate it. So continue the conversation and with each other, or let's meet up in LinkedIn. And if you have any follow-up questions, but Either way, I really appreciate you showing up here. We're on the 10-minute mark, and I hope to continue the conversation over on LinkedIn. All right. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Talk to you later.